Do you think, as an Asian American woman, do you think it's kind of a double problem? Because sometimes I feel, a lot of Asian men get mad at me for saying this, but I'm just gonna say a lot. There is a lot of sexism within Asian men towards Asian women, especially
Definitely.
from a older generation, but even
Definitely.
the modern generation. I think it happens more for people who weren't really raised here and born here.
I mean, there's still the thing where, like, even in our generation, they expect the girls to cook and clean, and like once you become
My
a
mom
mother,
constantly, and I'm not saying I agree with her at all, but my mom constantly tells me to find a girl to marry so she can cook and take care of. She constantly says, even when I say modern women don't think like this and blah blah
yeah.
blah blah. And I'm like, Mom, you shouldn't even think like this.
I mean, I
You
think
know?
there's, I mean, there,
But
it's a thing. It
that's how
feels
they were brought
outdated,
up.
but
That's how they
that's
were
how they
brought
were
up.
raised.
That's how
But
they
it's
were
also
raised
like,
up.
yes,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with being a mother, and but it's, I think that what's wrong is that when you only allow a woman to be a mother and a
Yeah.
nurturer when she can do so many other things.
Yeah.
Like,
But it ties into like I think a lot of Asians are taught to be obedient, to listen to their parents. But
yes.
what if your parents are wrong?
Oh,
There's
yeah.
always that, and of course they're wrong because they're not from here. And I'm not saying they intentionally want to be wrong, but they don't
No.
understand the layout, and they're not caught up with the times.
Yeah, I think
They're not.
something where, like, if you look at any first generation Asian family,
Mm.
there is the divide of the parents who are from an older generation, born in another country, raised with certain values that don't translate very well to American values.
Mm.
And there's that huge disconnect between these two generations because and the parents want the kids to be obedient Chinese or Vietnamese kids. Like they push that tradition like very hard, but it's also like these kids also have to try to assimilate into the culture, and there are things that are American values that are not at all in tune with Asian values. You know, like it comes down to like Asian communities, Asian society is a very we community centric thing. Like you see it in our terminology and the way we speak to one another. Like in Vietnamese, whenever I refer to myself, it is in reference to someone else in the room. Versus in America, in Western culture, there is the I. You know, there is
Yeah.
the I, the individualism that in Asian communities that's
Asians
not.
are collectivist society.
Yeah, and there's the whole like
And it
we.
functions that logic.
Yeah, it functions well. Like it functioned well with. I mean, you look at it; it's like mostly. Like I can only speak with like Vietnam, where like we came. It's a very poor country, and like you can have like three generations living in the same house. It worked because everyone worked together to do this to help this family survive. Versus in America, we're so spread out. There's no such thing as that because we've raised a generation of kids that want to be independent and on their own, and who don't need that. And I think there are some pros and cons of both sides. I mean, like, if I could live at home and still pursue my passion and not have to pay rent, I would love that. You know, like, that's amazing. And have a home cooked meal 7 days a week.
But at the same time,
But at the
you're
same
not- you
time,
have
yeah,
independence.
it's not my way of living my life, of finding my
I
happiness.
know a lot of
My
Asian
parents.
guys that this is how they pursue women. They go, "Let me take care of you. I'm rich. You don't have to ever work again if you marry me." Like this is a lot of Asian men. That's their.
Where were they when I was dating?
Well, they're still there, single. But I mean, I think okay. Actually, this other side was I was dating a woman not from here, from Asia, and I'm very pro-feminist. So I'm always about like. I even took her to Chicago. Like we watched her play Chicago, and I was like, "Look, this is feminist." Like she didn't know what that was. I mean, she's you met her, but so I was like, "This is what pro-feminism," and she was confused, and she was like, "No,
Which is okay.
no." I was like, "If we date, like, you have say in everything, and blah blah blah, and you know, I'm all about independence," and that. To her, were like some of the most unattractive things you could say to her.
Really?
She's like, I want you to tell me that you need to take care of me,
Oh.
like that kind of thing. So it is a culture difference.
And
But
it's also like based on like individual. Like I don't like the whole like crazy. I don't want to call them crazy feminists. The feminism where it's like the people that are like go to like the crazy ends and it's like I'm gonna do everything blah 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 and I'm like For me, I like an equal balance of things.